Right now, somewhere in your brain, there is a wound. You cannot see it. No doctor can find it on a scan, but it is there. And if you have ever had your heart broken, truly broken, you already know exactly what it feels like. That crushing weight in your chest, the inability to eat, the way a song or a smell or a corner of a street can send you straight back into the worst moment of your life. You probably thought that was weakness, that you were being dramatic, that other people handled this better. They didn't. And here is the part nobody ever told you. That pain you felt was not emotional. It was physical. It was real. It was measurable. And it was put there on purpose by 3 million years of evolution, because heartbreak was once the most dangerous thing that could happen to a human being. Not metaphorically, literally. And the story of why and how our ancestors survived it will change how you think about every heartbreak you have ever had. In 2003, a psychologist named Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA put a group of volunteers into a brain scanner and had them play a simple computer game. 3 players passing a ball back and forth. Simple, harmless. Until 2 of the players, who were not real, started passing the ball only to each other, leaving the real person out, silently, without explanation. Just exclusion, just rejection. And the brain scans showed something that changed neuroscience forever. The exact same regions of the brain that light up when you break your arm, the anterior cingulate cortex, the regions that process physical injury, lit up identically when a person was simply left out of a ball game. The brain did not know the difference between a broken bone and a broken heart. It responded to both the same way, with pain. Real, measurable, biological pain. This was not an accident of evolution. This was the plan. Because for the vast majority of human history, being rejected, being cast out, being left, being chosen against, was not an emotional setback. It was a death sentence. Imagine you are living 50,000 years ago. You are part of a band of 20 to 30 people. That band is everything. It is your food source, your protection, your shelter, your entire world. You do not survive alone. No human does. The forests are full of things that will kill you. The winters will kill you. Starvation will kill you. A broken leg will kill you if no one carries you. Now imagine the person you have bonded with, the person who shares your shelter, who hunts beside you, who holds your children, chooses someone else, or dies or leaves. That is not heartbreak the way we use the word today. That is a structural collapse of your entire survival system. Your access to resources, protection, reproduction, social standing, all of it, altered or destroyed in a single moment. Your brain knew this. It had always known this. And so it did what it had evolved to do when something threatens your survival. It screamed, not metaphorically. It fired the same emergency signals it fires when you are physically injured. Because to your ancient brain, losing your primary bond was an injury, the most dangerous kind. When 2 ancient humans bonded, and we have strong evidence that bonding existed even in early prehistoric groups, their brains were flooded with a specific cocktail of chemicals. Dopamine, the reward chemical, fired every time they were near their partner. Oxytocin, the bonding chemical, wired them together at a neurological level. Serotonin, which regulates mood and calm, stabilized around that bond. The relationship was not just emotional. It was chemical. It was neurological. It was structural. And then it ended. And every one of those chemicals crashed. Simultaneously, dopamine dropped, which is why heartbroken people feel no pleasure in anything. Food tastes like nothing. Music means nothing. Oxytocin withdrawal kicked in, which is why the body physically aches, why you cannot sleep, why you keep reaching for a phone to contact someone you know you should not contact. Cortisol, the stress hormone, flooded the system, which is why heartbroken people lose weight, lose sleep, lose their ability to concentrate, why their immune systems weaken, why they get sick. This is not drama. This is chemistry. This is your body responding to what it understands as a survival emergency, because that is exactly what it evolved to treat it as. In 1991, researchers identified something called broken heart syndrome. The medical name is Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. It is a condition in which sudden emotional stress, the death of a partner, a sudden rejection, a profound loss, causes the heart to physically change shape. The left ventricle balloons outward. The heart stops pumping correctly. The symptoms are identical to a heart attack. People die from it. Healthy people. People with no history of heart disease. People who simply lost someone they loved. And this is not a modern phenomenon. This is an ancient one. The same stress hormones that cause broken heart syndrome today were coursing through the bodies of prehistoric humans 100,000 years ago. The biology has not changed, only the world around it has. Which means ancient humans, who had none of our medicine, none of our therapy, none of our Netflix and ice cream and friends who text at midnight, were dealing with the full biological force of heartbreak in a world that was already trying to kill them. And somehow, they survived it. Here is what we know from the evidence. Ancient humans did not handle heartbreak alone. They could not. The same social structure that made rejection so dangerous also provided the only possible cure for it. The tribe, the band, the group. When a bond broke in a prehistoric group, the surrounding community responded. Not because they had read about grief counseling, because they understood instinctively that a person in that kind of pain was a liability. A person who could not eat, could not hunt, could not think clearly, was a danger to everyone. The group's survival depended on every member functioning, and so the group pulled the broken person back in, kept them fed, kept them moving, kept them present. Not out of kindness alone, though there was kindness, but out of necessity. Your heartbreak was the tribe's problem too. We see echoes of this in the oldest hunter-gatherer societies still studied today. The Hadza of Tanzania, the Sand People of the Kalahari. When someone loses a partner, to death, to separation, to the dissolution of a bond, the community does not leave them alone to process it. They physically remain present. They sit with the person. They bring food. They tell stories. They keep the fire going through the night. The modern instinct to isolate in heartbreak, to close the curtains and disappear, is almost entirely a product of modern life. It is not what our biology was designed for. It is not what kept our ancestors alive. Ancient humans also did something else with pain that we have almost entirely lost. They ritualized it. They gave it a container, a structure, a form. We know from archaeological evidence that prehistoric humans used ochre, red mineral pigment, not only in burial rites, but in what appears to be social and emotional ceremonies. We know they made music. The oldest musical instruments found so far are bone flutes, 60,000 years old, discovered in a Neanderthal cave in Slovenia. We know they danced. Footprint evidence from multiple sites suggests communal movement around fires was a regular practice. And we know from studying living hunter-gatherer societies that these rituals, music, movement, communal fire, shared food, were the primary technology for processing emotional pain. When you feel the urge to play a song on repeat after a heartbreak, the same song, 20 times in a row, that is not self-destruction. That is your ancient brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. Music activates the same reward pathways that bonding does. It releases oxytocin. It regulates cortisol. It is, neurologically, the closest thing the human brain has to a painkiller for social pain. Your prehistoric ancestors knew this without knowing the science. They just knew that the music helped. And so they played it, for hours, around a fire, in the dark, together. But not everyone did survive it. And the evidence for this is in the bones. Researchers studying prehistoric skeletal remains have found evidence of what appears to be social withdrawal, the physical signs of someone who stopped eating, stopped moving, stopped engaging with the group. Malnutrition in people who lived in times of food abundance. The ancient world had a word for this in almost every culture we have studied. A person who had lost the will to live. And in a world where the will to live was the only thing standing between you and a predator, that was not a metaphor. That was a cause of death. The ones who survived were the ones whose social bonds, the tribe, the community, the people around the fire, yet were strong enough to hold them until the chemistry stabilized. The ones who had people who refused to let them disappear. The ones whose grief was witnessed. Because witnessed grief heals. Unwitnessed grief festers. This is not philosophy. This is biology. The presence of other humans, even silent ones, even ones who just sit nearby, measurably reduces cortisol levels, measurably stabilizes the nervous system, measurably speeds the process of neurochemical recovery after a bond is broken. The tribe was the medicine. It was the only medicine they had, and it was enough. It had to be. Because here you are. You are alive right now because every single one of your ancestors survived their heartbreaks. Every single one. The ones who lost partners to death. The ones who were rejected. The ones who watched their bonds dissolve and felt the full biological force of that dissolution and somehow kept eating, kept moving, kept existing until the chemistry stabilized and life reformed itself around a new shape. They did not do it by being stronger than you. They did not do it by feeling it less. The biology was identical. The pain was the same. The chemical crash was the same. The way the brain misfiled loss as physical injury, the same. They did not handle it better. They just did not handle it alone. The most dangerous thing about modern heartbreak is not the heartbreak itself. It is the isolation we wrap around it. The closed curtains, the unanswered messages, the decision to disappear until we are okay again, which is exactly the opposite of what our biology requires. Your nervous system does not heal in solitude. It heals in the presence of other nervous systems. It heals around fire, around food, around voices, around the specific irreplaceable signal that says you are still part of the group. You are still here. You are not alone. The next time you are heartbroken, and you will be because you are human, and being human has always meant this, remember that what you are feeling is not weakness. It is not drama. It is not you failing to cope. It is 3 million years of evolution doing exactly what it was built to do, sounding the alarm, telling you that something important has been lost, demanding that you reach for the people around you. That alarm was never meant to ring in an empty room. It was meant to bring the tribe running. It was meant to be heard. It was meant to be answered. The only difference between you and the person who sat beside a fire 50,000 years ago, in the same pain, with the same chemistry, with the same wound that no scan could find, is that they knew, without anyone telling them, that the fire was not optional. The people were not optional. The presence was not optional. It was survival. It has always been survival. And it still is. Even now, even here, even for you, the heartbreak is ancient. So is the way through it. It was never meant to be walked alone.